وعمل صالحا وقال إنني من المسلمين.
One of the greatest miracles of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was the splitting of the moon. This is something that showed the world that he was no doubt a true prophet. Now, as a Muslim, we believe in this, as we believe in some great miracles of other prophets like Jesus, peace be upon him, and Moses splitting the ocean and so on. And what is the evidence as a Muslim is the verses from the Quran. In Surah Qamar, first two ayat, these two verses clearly state that this happened. The great scholar of Islam, Ibn Kathir, in his tafsir and explanation, he wrote that this happened during the time of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, as has been mentioned in the Quran and also in ahadith mutawatira, in numerous narrations with authentic chains of narrators, as has been authentically reported from Ibn Mas'ud. But what about the skeptic? What about the atheist? What about the agnostic? What about somebody who says that this is an extraordinary event and this type of a claim that is an extraordinary claim requires extraordinary evidence? Okay, in history we're told about the 7 wonders of the ancient world, 7 marvelous, extraordinary wonders that were there in the ancient world. One of them is still standing, and that's the pyramids in Giza. So that one we can go look at, no doubt. But the other 6 we have no actual evidence for. The Hanging Gardens of Babylon, for example, in reality, there's no physical evidence of them at all. So why do we teach them in history? Why do we accept them? Because we do have some oral traditions. We don't have any written first-hand reports of them. We have no physical evidence of them. But based on many oral traditions, most historians would agree that they did exist. So, having said that, we would deduce that even oral traditions are accepted to believe in some very extraordinary claims. But the splitting of the moon is no doubt more amazing, something that is not like a huge building or something like this. So we would want some really extraordinary proof. So is it scientifically possible that a moon can break or merge and then become one moon? Can it even happen? Well, the moon has our moon, the Earth's moon, has 2 very different faces. One that is facing towards the Earth and one that is facing away from the Earth, and they're very different. Why is that? One of the theories that's put forward by NASA themselves is that this is because there was a merging, and this is now the picture you have on your screen. This is also an artist's rendering of a theory put forward by NASA scientists that there was a merging of 2 moons into one, in our moon, of the Earth's moon. So what does this tell you? That no doubt it is very possible that our moon has been merged back together. And one of the evidences that you can find for this are these ridges, which are called rima meaning grooves, right? And there is the rima Artedias, which is 300 kilometers. In fact, all across the moon, in different places, you will find these cracks. Well, what causes them? There are many theories. One of them being that, as we mentioned before, that the 2 moons that collided caused these ridges. One of them being their volcanic tunnels and so on. So how can we be sure, did the moon ever split and come back together? Well, I mean, the only way we could really know is if we had eyewitness accounts. Well, we do. We do have eyewitness accounts. Let me begin with those. We have in historic documentation, in a book called Sahih al-Bukhari, we have the narration from Ibn Mas'ud. Ibn Mas'ud is one of the companions of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. And in the narration that is on your screen now, he reports this to have occurred as well. Now, you could say, okay, well, who's Ibn Mas'ud? Ibn Mas'ud, we know exact details about this eyewitness. What was his name? His name was Abdullah. What was his father's name? His father's name was Mas'ud. What was his mother known as? Abd. Did he have siblings? Yes. For example, he had a brother named Utbah. Okay, was he married? Yes. His wife was named Zainab. Did he have children? Yes. We know all of those details. We know who his son was, we know who his father was, we know he was born in 594, we know that he died in 653. So this person who was an eyewitness, and his credibility, his abilities, his history is well known. Okay, but who did he tell this event to? He told it to Abu Ma'mar. Well, who's Abu Ma'mar? His name is Abdullah. Well, who's his father? His father is a man named Sakhbara. Well, who did he tell it to? He told it to a man named Ibrahim al-Nakhai. Ibrahim, who is Ibrahim al-Nakhai? He is the son, his name is Ibrahim, his father's name is Yazid. Well, who's his grandfather? His grandfather's name is Qais. Well, who did he tell it to? He told it to Sulaiman. Well, who is Sulaiman? Sulaiman ibn Mahran al-A'mash. So you see, the entire community that heard this event, the chain of narrators are all well known to us. All the way to Imam Bukhari and At-Tirmidhi and other historians that wrote down this event. Not only do we know who those narrators are, we even know how reliable were they in their memorization, how trustworthy were they. We have their entire biography. Okay. Now, already we have more eyewitness accounts than for the hanging gardens of Babylon or the lighthouse of Alexandria, meaning that we actually know the person, we know their history, who physically saw it. So you could say that if such an extraordinary event happened, why is Abdullah ibn Mas'ud the only witness? Well, he's not. We have more eyewitnesses. Who are they? Let's name more. Jubair ibn Mut'im. Well, who was Jubair ibn Mut'im? He was somebody who was a companion of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, but he became a Muslim in 628 at the Treaty of Hudaybiyah. So that would mean that before the migration of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, from Mecca to Medina, which was around 622, he was a non-Muslim. So he was from Mecca, and as a non-Muslim, he witnessed this account, and he has an eyewitness account that is on your screen. Imam Ahmad in his Musnad, Imam Tirmidhi in his Jami', authentic narration, where he also says that I witnessed it, I saw that during the time of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, the moon split and came back together. So now you have another witness, and we have the same details about him and everybody that he reported to. Who was his father? It was Mut'im ibn Adi. Who did he have a son? Yes, one of his sons was Nafi' ibn Jubair. When did he die? 679. So with all of that clear detail, we have another eyewitness. First, that Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, who was a Muslim already, and the other, Jubair, who was not a Muslim at that time, that later accepted Islam. Okay, well, so you got two. How many else can you give us? Many more. Hudayfa ibn Yaman. Hudayfa ibn Yaman, he was also a companion of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. We have the exact same details: father, mother, children, where he lived, how good was his memory, what kind of a person was he, what he did. All of that detail is present, and Abu Nu'aym and Al-Bayhaqi and others have mentioned his narration. So this is also, it's on your screen. He was also an eyewitness to the account. More, let's give you more. Anas ibn Malik. Anas ibn Malik, the interesting thing about him is he's born in 612 and he dies in 711. And he's from Medina. And he, in Sahih al-Bukhari, he also witnesses this event. So that means the people of Medina were also witnesses to this event. Okay, Abdullah ibn Abbas, also another witness, authentic. We have Abdullah ibn Umar, who was the son of Umar ibn Khattab, famous companion, also an authentic narration. Many, many, many reports, we can go on. But a very important report from eyewitnesses is what's reported by Ibn Kathir in Bidayah wa Nihaya, in one of the famous books of Islamic history called Bidayah wa Nihaya. It is also reported by Abu Nu'aym, and it's also reported by Ibn Sayyid al-Nas. In this narration, it lists non-Muslims who were eyewitnesses. So we've already given you 6, 7 of the Muslims or those that became Muslim after this event that witnessed it. But now I'm going to give you of non-Muslims. Who were they? Walid ibn Mughira. We have his history as well. We have the famous Abu Jahl, whose actual name is Amr ibn Hisham. We have Al-As ibn Hisham. We have As ibn Wa'il. We have all of these people that were non-Muslims. Not just them. We have Al-Aswad ibn Abdul Yaghuth. Yaghuth was one of the idols, and his father was named as the slave of that idol. He was a non-Muslim, Al-Aswad here. Al-Aswad ibn Muttalib, Zam'a ibn Al-Aswad, another ibn Al-Harith. These 8 mushrikeen, polytheists that were there, they were the ones that challenged the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and said, if you are a true prophet, split this moon. They are witnesses in this narration that the moon split. Now, this is very important because these are opponents. These are enemies. If the moon didn't split, they would be the first one to come out and say, you know what, we put this challenge and it didn't happen. But they were all eyewitnesses, even as enemies, that the moon did split. And Ibn Kathir has this in Bidayah wa Nihaya, that not only did these enemies of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, witness this, but they said that if this man, Muhammad, peace be upon him, has done some kind of magic, this a trick, then he may have fooled us, but he will not have fooled the whole world. This is a skeptical question, and this is good. So they said, we will ask those caravans that were out to Yemen or to Syria, that were out, that were not in Mecca, whether they saw this event or not. In this narration, they asked the caravans that returned to Mecca, and every single one of them confirmed that they also saw the moon split.
اقتربت الساعة وانشق القمر وإن يروا